Hi everyone, Jen Roque here at stampcampwithjen.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. Sorry I'm a bit late. I've had quite the busy Monday today. I was fortunate enough to have my first in-person team meeting for the first time in like 6 months, which was really nice to get together with all the girls. We went out to lunch, and then for dinner, my husband surprised me and said, why don't we go to our favorite Thai restaurant? So we went there for dinner and went out for ice cream. It's been a busy day, so that's why I was running a little bit late today. So thank you for your patience and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to do a really fun technique that I've done before. And so it might be familiar to some of you, but I like to kind of go back to the techniques that I've done before and kind of play with new products with them. So we're going to do the baby wipe technique today. This is one we did for Stamp Camp and everybody loved it. It's always a fan favorite. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. It's a lot of fun. Everybody really likes it. So as you're joining me, definitely say hello. Let me know what you're up to, where you're joining me from. If you like the technique, if you have questions about the technique, anything like that, please leave a comment below and let me know, and I'll be sure to be checking them as we're going through the video. If you're watching the replay, still say hi. Let me know what you think about this project. I love hearing from you guys. So we are going to use a product that's from Celebration, which is sadly over, but I still wanted to share this card because it is a really cool card and everybody really liked it, and I think the technique is really cool. So we're going to be using the bedazzling paper that's from Celebration. So if you have that, great. If you don't, you can substitute it with just plain cardstock. That's fine too. Or gold foil would be pretty too. Hi Roberta, hi Sue, thanks for joining me. All right, well, let me try to flip my camera around. I was playing with this before I came on, and it seems like Facebook is always changing how things look, so they've changed it again. So let me see if I can figure out how to flip everything over real quick. So bear with me, it's gonna be a little bumpy. Oh, here we go, I got it now. All right, so let's go down to the workstation here. And this is the card that we're going to be making today. So we're going to be using that Gorgeous Leaves bundle. We're going to die cut this flower out of the bedazzling paper, and we're going to color it with a Stampin' Write marker, and that's how you get it to look a whole different color, and it's just so cool. So, and then the baby wipe is actually with these little leaves. So let me show you how to put this together, okay? So I have some kits left over from when I did Stamp Camp. So I'm going to take my paper out here of my envelope, and I have a rich razzleberry card base. We're going to just go ahead and fold that in half. This is such a pretty color. It's like a plum purple color. It's really nice. I really like it. I don't always use it, but I really like it a lot. Oh, this is another paper from Celebration. If you got that Peaceful Prince that has like the deer and then the plaid, I cut that down just so there's a little bit of a border on either side of the card front. It's the same length as the card front though, so you'll just line up the top and the bottom. And the dimensions and the measurements for all the paper will be in my blog post that I post tomorrow with the video replay, and it'll be, if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description. Or actually not in the description, sorry. You'll be able to click on the link to the blog post that has the measurements. So, all right, so let's go ahead and adhere this to the card front. We can kind of put some of this stuff together before we work on the main piece there. So I'm just gonna do 3 little sections. Oh, a little star left over from another project there. All right. Just gonna line that up, okay? And then I always put a white piece in my kit, and this is actually just the card liner. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in the inside there before I forget. All right. And then we'll get to, oops, it's kind of small. Oh, that's the nice thing about the regular seal. You can kind of just pull it up. It doesn't have to, even if it's on there a little bit, you'll be able to pull it up without ripping your card. So that's good. So that's it for now. So now I have a skinnier piece of white that we're going to stamp on. So just to recap here, this is the stamp set we're leaving, that we're using, the Gorgeous Leaves stamp. I really like it. It's got the grunge and the wood and these beautiful leaves. So we're going to be using this maple leaf and this little speckled stamp right here for right now. So what you're going to need is a paper plate and some baby wipes. Where did I put mine? Hold on one second. You can use any baby wipes. The ones I have, they're just like the Target brand baby wipes. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to take a baby wipe out and I'm going to fold it into fourths and stick it on my plate. So you need a plate because it's a flat surface. When you go to stamp, you need it to have room to actually stamp on a flat level surface. I tried to do it on a bowl before. That just doesn't work because the sides are too curvy and you can't really get your hand in there. So, all right. So the colors that we're going to use today are Old Olive, Pumpkin Pie, and Rich Razzleberry. So these are the re-inkers that you use to kind of bring your ink pads back to life when they kind of dry out. And what we want to do is we're going to take our re-inkers and we're just going to drop color all over the baby wipe section here. And you don't have to really do it over the whole thing. You just need a section big enough that you can stamp on with whatever size stamp you use. And my stamp, let me grab it real quick. It's a pretty significant size, so I really need to be able to cover most of this right here, okay? Because I need to be able to stamp, or to ink it up, stamp, okay? And you don't want a lot of white spaces, so we're gonna fill in these little white spaces here. We're going to use Pumpkin Pie for this one. And you'll see as you kind of put color down, it will spread and kind of connect the colors together, which is pretty cool. So you don't really need to drop ink right over a specific color because it'll spread and kind of meet the other color. Okay. And like I said, this is not new by any means, but I like to revisit techniques that we've done before so that you can practice them, kind of use new products and see how it looks with something. Last year we did this with a snowflake set and it turned out really cool with kind of non-traditional colors. All right, so that's a pretty good size right there. So I'm going to take my white, I'm going to move this off to the side just a little bit so you can see it. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, with even pressure, put my stamp down, and then I'm going to start in the middle here and ink that up. I'm going to put it down once. You don't want to tap or move it around because if you do that, you'll get like a muddied color. And then I'm going to stamp it down, and then I'm going to ink it up, press down once, and stamp. And that's all you want to do. And I love it because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of good if it's not perfect, right? So you ink it up, stamp, and then re-ink it every time. And if you get, like I had a little smudge there from my finger, not a big deal. We're going to fill in the gaps here a little bit too. And then I'm going to do this little stem up here. Now with this baby wipe, you can get quite a few cards out of this. I watched another demonstrator's video. She said she was able to make 10 cards out of this. So definitely this is great if you want to mass produce a bunch of cards. You don't want to sit or let it sit and say, oh, I'll come back to it later. That's not going to work because as the baby wipe sits with the ink will spread all over the baby wipe and you're just really not going to be able to use it anymore after that. Let me see if I can get a scrap piece of paper here. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that little speckled stamp from that same stamp set and we're gonna get the crumb cake ink for this one. And we're just gonna stamp this, and we're gonna use this to kind of fill in that white space there. I love this stamp because it's like grungy, and I don't know why, I just really like that because it really does allow for you to make mistakes, and it looks like you were supposed to do it on purpose. I think that's really what I love about it. You can cover up something that you think, oh, that's not exactly perfect. Oh, that's fine. It's gonna get covered up with speckles, don't worry. I definitely like that. All right, so there. So yep, that's all we did. We just kind of covered it up. And then it looks so cool. And because we had, you're basically just making it your own ink pad with that baby wipe, right? So, and it looks like fall colors, and fall leaves are all different. They're all changing colors and stuff. So I really like how that looks. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, so we can go ahead and put this on the center right there. Go ahead and put that on our card front. And then I'm gonna do a couple other things. We're gonna do our sentiment next. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Okay. So for the sentiment strip, we're gonna cut a little, and I actually think this is a little long. I need to trim it just a little bit here. Just a teensy bit. There we go. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Banners Pick-a-Punch, and I'm just gonna take it and make a little flag on one end, if I can get it to go in all the way. There it is. So I like to punch first and then kind of put my sentiment on after that. So we just want the flag off to the right side here. And then we're gonna take our Rich Razzleberry, and this stamp is from the Christmas to Remember stamp set. This is one of my favorite stamp sets. I love how the font and everything looks. So we are going to take that stamp, and we're gonna stamp over right next to where that little flag is, because the leaf is gonna go on the left-hand side, and that's really just gonna kind of cover that up. So we wanna ink up the stamp and stamp it next to that flag. Perfect. And then what I like to do to put my sentiment on is I like to line this edge up with the edge of the white right there. And that's like perfect where you need it to be. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm just gonna use more seal. You can use liquid glue if you're more comfortable with that. I know a lot of people have a hard time with the seal, so they don't like to use it. But I've gotten kind of used to it. Really, as long as you just make sure that the glue is rolled all the way to the front and you use even pressure and then pull it up, like straight up, I haven't had really any issues with it. So, all right. So the last thing we need to do is we need to take the die from the coordinating die set for that gorgeous leaves bundle, and we are going to die cut this bedazzling leaf right here. So let me get my embossing machine. So this is the regular stamp emboss machine, and we are going to use the number 1 plate right here, right there, the thick one, the number 1. And then, was it number 2 and 2 number 3s? Okay. So it's hard for you guys to see it because my camera's so low down, but I'll show you here in just a second. So this number 1 is the thick plate, and it shows you on the front there, when you use the dies, you need a number 1, a number 2, and 2 number 3s, which are the cutting plates right there. So we're gonna take that and put it down, and then we're gonna use this bedazzling paper here, and then put our other cutting plate on top. Now I'm gonna run this through a couple of times because that paper is so thick I want to make sure it really goes through that paper. So I'm going to run it forward and back, forward again. I think that should do it. And we'll take a look here. Yep, and you can see it right on the back there. I might not have even needed to do that much, but I just really wanted to make sure I cut that out. So I'll move all my stuff here. Okay. So now the easiest way to poke these out is to take your pick tool, and I like to turn it over so the white side is facing up, and then you can just poke all those little pieces out there. I really wish there was a better way to get these out, but there really is no, like, you can't use the dryer sheet technique that I showed a couple weeks ago because it just doesn't work with this paper. It's just way too thick. So it's a little tedious, but you can do it. I promise it's worth the effort. So I will just sit here and poke these out for a second. And like I said, just turning it over on the back, it just makes it a lot easier to see. So did you guys all enjoy Celebration? Can you believe that we're already getting ready for another celebration in January? The next January through June mini catalog for 2022 will be coming out, and demonstrators will have their hands on it. Next month we'll be able to see what's in the catalogs, and then in December we'll be able to order our catalogs to hand out to all of you fabulous customers. So I can't believe that as a demonstrator I might not already be able to see the new catalog stuff. It feels like we just finished Celebration already, but I'm really excited. I always love seeing what they come out with. It's the anticipation. It's like Christmas to me, like just waiting for, Santa to come or something. That's what it feels like every time, and I love it. I get so excited about it. Last year, actually, the annual catalog, demonstrators were able to see it on my birthday, so that was kind of cool. It was like a birthday present just for me. So I love that. If you're interested in seeing products early and becoming a demonstrator, you can always join my team. Stampin' Up! Always offers a great starter kit bundle, and you can always reach out to me if you'd like more information on how to purchase the no obligation starter kit and join my team. All right, so what we're going to do now, I've poked out all the holes, so now I'm flipping it back up where the sequin side is. And we're just going to take, this is actually a rich raspberry Stampin' Blend, and I'm taking the brush tip and I'm coloring it. If you don't have rich raspberry, you could use Blackberry Bliss. It would be a little bit darker, but I think that would be a really cool alternative color. Or you could use the pumpkin pie. There's a Stampin' Blend for pumpkin pie. That would coordinate really well, but it's not going to show up. It's not going to be as dramatic in color because it's pretty similar to this bedazzling color here. So these are alcohol-based markers, so even though I just colored that stem, it's not wet anymore, so I can actually move my finger down to where that stem is. It dries really fast since it's alcohol-based, so I can put my finger down where that stem is and it's not going to get color all over my finger. And that is it. It does kind of make your brush tip a little jagged, so if that's something you're worried about, then you might not want to try this trend. You might want to do like a Stampin' Spritzer and kind of spritz the color over, but I'm not really that worried about it. I think it's fine. Oh, I missed a little section. It doesn't bother me. All right. So now all we have to do is glue that leaf on. So I'm going to grab my card. I'm actually going to get my silicone craft sheet. This is great whenever you have projects like this where you need to glue something down. It's very intricate and you don't want to get your workspace all dirty. They're $6 in the annual catalog. I use mine all the time, honestly. I think it's a great investment. You can use it for all sorts of things. So I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to go up this vein on each of the leaf sections here and kind of just go over the edges a little bit as well. Okay. And then we're just going to kind of flip it over. Hopefully it's not a huge, oh, it's kind of messy, but that's okay. It'll dry. Oh man, I got that really, I'm actually going to put my leaf up just a little bit so it doesn't come off the edge there. I put a little too much glue on mine, but that's okay. It'll dry clear, so. All right. I made a big mess with the glue, but that's okay. All right, and that's it. That is our dryer sheet. You can use a blender brush too. That's right, Sue. Thank you for helping me out. So, all right. So, yep, this is my car. Oh, I have a little bit. Let me trim this off, actually. So, Sue, when you talk about the blender brushes, are you talking about the Stampin' Write markers or the old blender brushes that you used with the different colors? That's my question. I don't think I've ever played with the blender brushes. All right, but anyway, so that is my project. And like I said, we used this at Stamp Camp this month to play with the baby wipe technique, and it was just a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below what you think and if you liked it. And again, if you need any of the supplies from today's project, you can purchase them in my online store. Be sure to shop with me, Jennifer Roque. And if you make at least a $50 purchase before shipping and tax, you'll get my free gift this month, which is a roll of tear and tape. And any order that anybody places with me, I always send you a nice little thank you card in the mail as well. So, all right, guys. Well, until next time, stay safe and happy stamping. See you soon. Bye.